Episode 67.
Beautiful.
It's
Weeks are
unbelievable.
going
I
by
can't
like
believe it.
crazy.
Weeks going by is like, and it's funny because we do the show on a Tuesday. Today is March 10th. We're doing this show. You do a show on Tuesday and it comes out Thursday, but it seems like right around the corner is Tuesday
Doing
again.
another one, I know.
And and the thing is, whether you like Trump or not, there's always something to talk about.
That's true.
When
Never
he's
run out.
when he's not president anymore, I hope they don't have somebody that's real dull because
Yeah.
it's
We'll
going to
have
be
nothing to talk about.
running out of things to talk about.
But what we're going to talk about tonight, and stay tuned, we got a lot to cover. We're going to do an update quickly on the war in Iran, just kind of statistics of what's taken place so far, how many targets and things like that. We got a couple of videos of people just trashing Trump on this whole war thing, which of course is nothing new.
Right.
And then Reza
Pahlavi.
Pahlavi. He accepted the role to lead Iran, which makes no sense because nobody's talking about this. And I don't know if they're trying to vote him in or what.
Well, I got something to say about that.
Okay, we'll get there.
Yeah.
And so now the son, I guess, is supposed to be stepping up, which we're not too happy
I
about.
got things to say about that too. But
And then we got Mayor Daniel Lori.
Lori.
I guess somebody on the street, his bodyguard, trying to protect him. He got overpowered and he lands on his back and he just walked away. Then there were a couple other people filming, like always when these things happen. Want to talk about Kristi Noem? She's out, and I don't know if I agree with that, but there's some things Bill and I will debate on, I'm sure. And then, has Trump been caught up in the latest Epstein file release? Now, there's not a lot out there, but I saw a CNN thing, and apparently some younger girl at the time, testified that he tried to force herself on him, and she bit him. So we'll have to see if that really is true or not. But so those are the stories for tonight, and hope you stay with us because I think we're pretty interesting, but we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you notice,
Oh, yeah.
our new studio here, this is what you're going to be seeing now from now on. And we got a nice bookshelf here with stuff that kind of mattered to Joe and I. I'm a big Oriole fan. I got Oriole stuff up here. I got my books on photography, lighthouses, and Indy race cars, especially American Honda, when I sold Acuras and Hondas. 2 bottles of wine, and I only got that. I ordered wine when my wife and I went to Italy, and it's just something special that I did. Because I ordered 2 cases of wine, and that's the wine there. And one of my trophies from one of the years of selling cars at BMW. And Joe's got a lot of stuff.
I got a few things, some books and things like that. And keeping with the Honeymooners fans that we are, Grand High Exalted Ruler. My dad was for the Elks Club, not Raccoons. Ooh.
Yeah.
So I brought his award, so just in memory of him and some books and stuff. So
we'll try to change this
we'll
up
change
every
it
once
up.
in a while. If we
we'll
get
try to
something.
make it a little bit more.
But this is it. This is going to be our new studio. And
Step up. We're here.
Yep, we are here. Yep.
So Operation Epic Fury. All right.
Yep.
Since late February, we started this thing. Here's the update so far.
Has involved extensive air strikes since February. In fact, it was February 28th was the day that this thing launched.
Yep.
And the latest available updates around March 9th to the 10th. Israeli Defense Forces reported approximately 3,400 strikes carried out so far. 3,400 strikes.
I know.
It's amazing if you think about it.
I know.
I mean, it's just,
The weaponry and wow.
Yeah, and I'm just reading here, we just sank 16 ships today, Iranian ships.
I thought there was nothing left.
Well, it says U.S. forces destroyed 16 Iranian mine-laying vessels.
Oh,
I guess they put mines on.
Yeah, they're trying to mine this straight of Hormuz,
Or moose.
or Moose, so that the tankers can't get through.
Right.
So they had to blow them up.
Yep.
Well, I could just hear them now. There's a dinghy with 2 oars. Get them.
Yeah.
So they're hitting everything.
Yeah, they're hitting everything. It's really unbelievable. Is it working? That's a different
Story.
But it's amazing what they're doing as far as our military and also Israel's, but our military is phenomenal. It is just over the top. on the weaponry that we have and
Now we're using lasers.
lasers. Yeah, because of these drones that they launch.
Like
Evidently,
Star
they got
Trek.
some type of drones that are doing a lot of damage.
Yes.
So they pulled in this other type of weaponry to try to.
Knocks the drone out. Yeah, as soon as it hits it.
Yeah.
It
How
overheats.
did they do it?
It overheats the internal stuff in the drone, the motors and
Oh.
stuff, and they drop out of the sky.
Wow.
But laser, we're talking Star Trek.
Yeah. Well, they.
You know.
What did Reagan say? We want Star Wars, and
Yeah.
Trump came out with Space Force. So I mean, I don't know.
And I saw a picture of this. I'll put it up. But there's a picture of this laser coming off one of the carriers, one of the battleships. It's like, oh my God.
Really? And going after one of these drones?
Well, they just showed a laser coming out of
Wow.
the target thing. It's a big lens type thing, and yeah,
Wow.
crazy. But
Unreal.
you know, and they're hitting everything they can. They had the U.S. now. That was Israel. Now the U.S. struck 1,000 more targets
Yeah.
on top of that.
Broader claims,
well,
including what President Trump said,
Of course.
reaching over 5,000 targets hit over and across the conflict.
Yeah. Well, that's because you know how Trump is. He's always got to.
Well,
He
yeah.
exaggerates. And what he didn't tell you was he put everything together and then made it one number. The U.S. did not hit 5,000 places. But anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's incredible. And like you said, the military is second to none. And man, if you can hear Hegseth talk now, he's just so proud of it. And
Oh, he
now,
is.
now look at the conflict and the destruction that's going on here. And if we lose one person is too many. But to think that we only lost 6 people,
7. No,
7 now.
somebody died today. Passed
Okay.
away. He was in the hospital. He got hit the other day, but he succumbed
okay.
to his wounds.
So we lost 7 Americans, which is 7 too many.
Oh, yeah.
But think about warfare today.
Oh,
I mean,
know.
it's all from the air. It's all from guided missiles, and most of the time we don't have like Vietnam. What did we lose? 600 in the first day.
Right.
So, you know, just thank God for that. So, and hopefully,
Well, do you think it's really working? Give me your opinion on it. Because what I'm worried, before you answer that, what I'm worried about is a Stagmire. Now, they elevate this son, who's, by the way, hurt. Supposedly, his one leg is amputated. And his wife, his brother, kids, they were all killed. He was the one that was still alive. And supposedly, the Ayatollah, or whatever his name is, written him off out of the will. He wasn't, But they're bringing this guy in. Now, I know that we're going to talk about Pahlavi, but it's like they're kind of like thumbing up their, giving us the finger. No, we're going to do what we want to do.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Despite all the bombings and all the lasers and all this stuff.
That's the part I think is not working. So all this
Yeah,
stuff.
it seems like they can't. Yeah, okay, keep bombing. Yeah, we're still here.
Yeah.
We're still here, and we're going to rule. You know, but what we need, I think, we need the people to
Stand up for
to
themselves.
stand up, but they're scared.
Yeah.
They're scared. I saw a video the other day. You ready for this? How sick these people are?
I know, but
It was one of their cronies in the government or something was saying to parents in Iran, if your kids rise up and they go against the country,
I'm going to take them out.
we're going to take them out. So if you want your kids to live, I wish we had the video clip here, but if you want your kids to live, try to talk some sense into them.
Wow.
Do you imagine that?
Yeah.
I can't imagine something like that. And look at these poor soccer girls in Australia. They
Yeah.
can't come back to they don't want to go back to Iran because they know they're going to get killed because they didn't stand up and they didn't sing for their Iran's national anthem.
All right.
So they're pleading for Australia to see if they have asylum in Australia. And what I love about what Trump said, Trump says if Australia doesn't do that, you can come to the States,
Well, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, ever since Trump said that, Australian government evidently took 5. I don't know how many girls are. I think there's 20 or 15. They took 5 so far.
Okay.
The other ones are still up in the air. I don't know where they're going. I don't know if they're coming to the United States or staying in Australia. Imagine your daughter and her husband, and some official says if you don't raise your kids the right way, the way we like,
want it,
we're going to kill them.
And that's why they've been in power so long, because everybody fears what's going on. It's crazy.
It is.
But that's the way they've been forever. Look how they treat the women. Look how this and that. So they definitely need something different. And they even said today that Iran will not sit and talk with U.S. They still are fighting back that they don't even want to sit with us.
Well, they got to be running out of missiles and stuff.
They
gotta
are.
be.
They're down 90% or something.
Yeah, 90%.
Now the drones are still available, but they're hitting them too now. So, and they're hitting the places where they make the drones. So that's
So
hopefully.
these mine, like what I'm reading right now, and I'm getting this from Fox News, U.S. forces destroy 16 Iranian mine-laying vessels.
Yeah.
So I guess they put mines up so the
Yeah,
oil
what they
tankers,
are is they're actually they're weighted, so it hits the bottom of the ocean, but they float about midway up where the boat's hull would pass.
Okay.
And they're mines, and they hit them, and like the old days.
Yeah.
You So, we know all that stuff's going on. This is, let me just run this clip real quick. This is people just trashing Trump. So, Mike, put that clip up here for us, please.
Scott, I want to ask you about the politics of this because it is mixed in your party. There are some with very big megaphones who are not happy with the president because he did promise, not just during the campaign, but at his inaugural address, that he's the guy who's going to bring peace and not start wars.
Yeah, and he is bringing peace. Iran has been at war with us for 47 years. The central pillar of the regime is death to America. The other pillar is death to Israel, who is our ally. They have been at war with us. They have been killing American personnel and American soldiers for nearly 5 decades. This is not an attempt to start a war. This is an attempt to prevent further conflict. This is an attempt to get the largest state sponsor of terror off the field. This is an attempt to stabilize the Middle East. I don't view this actually as starting a war as much as ending the people who are the preeminent terror threat in the world. They're at war with everybody. They're at war with us, and they're at war with Western civilization.
It's very clear this is a war of choice by President Trump. There was no imminent threat against the American people, against American facilities or persons. This is a war that is going to be born on the backs of working class Americans who have suffered, financed, fought over 20 years of war. Enough is enough. It is time for Congress to get involved, retake its constitutional authority, to return the American people back into the driver's seat on matters of war and peace. That is what this is about. It's also very clear this administration has no plan for the day after. They've stumbled into this. They are trying to destroy the Iranian regime, and they have no plan for what comes next. History shows very clearly this does not end well.
I'm going to run a quick commercial from our executive producer. Watch this.
The Bill and Joe Show is really starting to grow, and we have only you to thank for that. If you're enjoying the show so far, please take a moment and make sure you click the like button and subscribe. More importantly, hit that bell and get reminded when we post a new video. Thank you for supporting this channel. It really means a lot to all of us.
Reza Pahlavi.
Yeah, now this guy, I got a speech. Well, after we talk about him, I'm going to put it up. He made a speech that he accepts the challenge of the Iranian people, and they want him in as power. And he was a Shah, the son of Iran's last Shah, I think it was.
Okay, if you remember in 1979,
No,
Carter
I don't
was
remember yesterday.
well, Carter was in
Yeah.
1979. The Khomeini, not the guy that they just killed, the original Ayatollah Khomeini.
Yeah.
They overtook the government and kicked the Shah out. Now, the Shah wasn't the greatest guy either.
Right.
But
But
he
better
was a
than
lot
this
better,
guy.
but he was overtaken by Ayatollah Khomeini. And Ayatollah Khomeini vowed that he was going to take care of the country and it was going to be free and it was going to be this, that, and the other thing.
Yep.
And that was far from it. This guy is his son,
Okay.
who fled from Iran back then in 79 and has been living in the States. Now, the reason why, I think one reason why a lot of people are kind of rejecting him, he hasn't been in Iran, was it 47 years since 1979?
Yeah.
And they're saying, is he qualified? Is he really
yeah,
qualified?
but if you think about, and I'll look at it on the opposite way, if he was in Iran the whole time, how is he getting trained? If he's coming from the States, don't you think he's going to have more about free elections and more
Yes.
of our thinking type
Yes,
thing?
I agree with you there. Yes, I think him living here and seeing the way we operate,
Right.
and it's 47 years of
Try
it.
to bring it there.
He's going to try to bring it there. But still, I think the country over there is 50-50 on this guy. And
Yes.
and our politicians, I've heard some of them say he's really not the guy, but I've heard some people say he should be the guy. That's the guy who should be going over there.
Well, it's going to be better than who's there now.
Oh yeah, much better. I wonder if this guy, the son that took over, that's got one leg.
Yeah.
I wonder if his life insurance company canceled him because he's going to be dead. There's no doubt about it.
yeah, they'll
He's going to
cancel
be.
him, yeah.
He's going to. I would think they were talking about that today. I was listening to Mark Simone. He says, "Well, he's not going to have too much life insurance. They're probably going to cancel it."
Well, you know, the other thing too is he can't run away. He just runs in circles.
Right. That's yeah. That's very good.
But thank you. But this guy outlined free elections, a referendum on republic and constitution and monarchy, stabilizing the country by
Yes.
keeping non-criminal bureaucrats, and restoring ties with Arab states. And that's what Iran needs to do because every Arab state right now is against them.
Oh, they are. And you're right. He would probably do that.
Yeah.
But it seems like, well, they're right now, they're still fighting this war. So we need the students that were protesting a month ago. Remember in the streets, there was thousands, and then a lot of them were killed?
Yep.
We need that again. We need them to come out. But the problem is there's still soldiers there. There's still police there that are hardliners, and they're going to kill them. That's what's going to happen.
Yep.
And that's where we're at. I think my personal opinion, I think in another week and a half to 2 weeks, it'll be over with.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm
I
hoping
think it
for.
will. I think something will happen. And I'm not saying like having troops there or anything. I think that would be the worst thing. But there's a little island. If you take a look at the map of Iran, Mike, do you have a map of Iran? Can you pull that up? If you look at this island, there's a little island that's up to the top left of the country. That island is the island that evidently takes care of all things that are imported and exported from Iran. Not just oil, just other things.
Okay.
If we take over that part of the country or that little island, that would, I think, would help a lot. But it will piss off a lot of other people because they wouldn't be getting goods.
Yeah,
Things
yeah.
like that. I'm waiting for another country to
tariff.
get tired of this and saying, listen, our oil's not coming. Even though they only produce like 20% of the oil that's in the world,
Right.
I think it would probably, somebody is going to get pissed off.
Well, China gets a
China
lot of
or
oil from
Russia
them,
or
yeah.
whatever.
So that's a problem.
But now let's just talk about that for a second.
Well, wait
I
a
know you want to talk about certain.
No. I want to run this video of this guy so we get a good feel of this
Okay.
Crown Prince Reza
Pahlavi.
Pahlavi. Hang on, here it is. Mike, thanks.
The Islamic Republic has launched missiles at the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, Jordan, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia. It is targeting our Arab neighbors. These violations of their sovereignty are unacceptable and we condemn them. But this is nothing new. This is who the Islamic Republic has always been, and this is why it must end. For nearly 5 decades, this terrorist regime has sown chaos and bloodshed across our region. It propped up Assad, turning Syria into a graveyard. It planted Hezbollah as a state within a state in Lebanon. It armed the Houthis to destabilize the Arabian Peninsula. It empowered militias in Iraq to undermine Iraqi sovereignty. It attacked the economic hubs of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. None of this has ever been the desire of the Iranian people, but rather that of a regime occupying our country. Now, however, the landscape has fundamentally shifted. Assad is gone. Hezbollah has been decimated. The regime's military nuclear program has been set back. Its economy is in a free fall. The pillars of this regime's aggression are crumbling. The Iranian people have paid the price in blood to reach this moment. The regime massacred tens of thousands of my compatriots in just 2 days, but it didn't break the people. Instead, the regime itself is breaking. Today, history reminds us of our future potential. Before the revolution, Iran worked closely with Arab leaders, from King Faisal to Sheikh Zayed to King Hussein to President Sadat. In Oman, my father helped Sultan Qaboos defend his country against insurgency. We were true partners then. We will be true partners again. The Iranian people have called on me to lead the transition after the regime is gone. I have accepted that responsibility. Part of their great mandate to me is to return our nation and our foreign relations to normalcy. I will do exactly that. My commitment is to ensure the transition is orderly, the country is stabilized, and Iranians determine their future through the ballot box. We will not repeat the mistakes of past transitions. We will avoid de-Baathification scenarios and maintain as many bureaucrats and public servants in transition as possible. Iranians have made their choice at an enormous price.
So that's his speech. I don't know if it was an acceptance speech because nobody accepted him yet. But,
Right,
But
right.
that was it so far.
But what I still don't understand, and I think you're going to outline it here if I looked at the notes here, because you did a good job on these notes. What I would understand is, drill, baby, drill, Trump did that. We just took over 2 oil tankers from Venezuela, plus taking the oil from that, and that's coming to us.
Right.
Why do our prices have to go up? Tell me. You have it here. I want to know.
All right. So
I want to know. It just doesn't make sense. And I think a lot of people are looking at this and saying, why is our gas going up to close to $4 a gallon or $3.50 a gallon when we hear from Trump, drill, baby, drill, we're getting a lot of oil, we got a lot of oil, we got a lot of shale, we got this, we got the tankers from Venezuela, we got oil from Venezuela. Why?
and the other question I had is why is the gas prices going up when that particular oil didn't hit us yet? Even though the U.S. is the world's largest oil producer right now,
Right.
all right, 13 million barrels a day from Texas, New Mexico, those, landman.
Yeah,
Texas.
man. Billy Bob Thornton.
It doesn't shield us as Americans here when the price spikes. And that's because oil is a globally traded commodity, right? It's globally traded. So
Okay.
just like if you invest in the stock market, that's across the U.S. or global, whatever. If that goes down, you take the hit anyway. So it's kind of the same thing. It's a commodity. So prices are set by worldwide supply and demand.
Right.
So as soon as the supply starts going down, demand goes up and prices go up. It doesn't matter that we could live without their oil because only 20% come out of that area now. But it's not just the U.S. output. The U.S. output is counted as part of that global commodity. So if the world in general is losing that oil, that's going to hit us too, no matter what. Now, if we were 1,000% on our own, then I could see maybe that's not it. But it's still a commodity that's traded across the globe.
Well, oil did go down today.
Yes, it did. Actually, right now,
I think it went down $40 a barrel or something like that.
well, it's at
$30.
$87.23,
What was it yesterday? Wasn't it yesterday over?
$96.
Yesterday was 96.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was over 100 because I heard reports today. I was listening to
It
Clay
might
and
have
Buck.
spiked and then came back down right
Yeah,
away.
they were saying close to $40 it dropped.
Here. Okay, so March 9th, yesterday was 95.71. And then today, 86.15 right now. So, and now they're saying,
Going in the right direction.
yeah, and they're saying once this is over, it may go down lower than when it started. And that's what we got to hope for.
Oh, yeah. We want to get this to like $45 a barrel. That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah, because
And I think it's going to happen. If everything goes right, and they do wind up giving up and Trump can go in there, not Trump himself, but send an envoy in there and get somebody to run the country, maybe this Reza Pahlavi, maybe he could do it, and maybe it'll work out. And
it was
before you
low
know
as $55. So,
yeah. And then the stock market will go up.
and when this went down, it went up.
It went up. Well, it did, but then it
It came back down.
came back down a little
Because
bit.
Trump goes, look, we're going to end this war real soon. And then the stock market goes up and gas prices go down. And he goes, but we may go longer. So now the stock market goes down, the prices go up on the oil. Would you finish the sentence and just stick with it? It's driving everybody crazy.
Yeah.
So that's why it's just a global commodity. And then the other reason I wanted to mention was people are saying, how could the gas prices go up here when that oil hasn't even been refined yet, the expensive oil? Right. And why are gas stations raising their price? Well, here's why. Because once that hits them, for them to buy a new supply to put in the ground for us to pump into our cars, it's going to be that much more money. So even though they lowered their prices, they're making the money now, today, to pay for the next shipment that's going to be higher in price.
Okay.
And then they'll, even though the prices will be lower,
Right.
they paid more for that gas that came in,
Oh, okay.
but they're making it up now. So, but a lot of people say, oh, price gouging. As soon as they hear it, it's going to go up. They go up.
Yeah.
So this is a San Francisco Democratic mayor, Daniel Laurie. I just thought this was funny. He literally washed his hands of this whole thing. His detail or his bodyguard got into a scuffle with a guy in the street.
Right.
You can see in the video, the poor guy's got slammed to the ground because the guy he's trying to protect is bigger than him. And he gets nailed and he gets left on the ground. And the mayor just, he kind of just walked away. Well, that's his job to get beat up on the street. And then you got other people around there that are just going, click, click.
Did you watch the whole video?
Just take the video. I only saw the spot where they flipped him and then he walked away.
The reason why he walked away is he got another person from his security team. He went over to get somebody else. That's what happened.
Oh,
Yes.
How do you know that?
Because I saw other videos about it.
Full of shit.
I'm not. He did walk out of the cameras.
He walked out.
And you do see him walk out, but what he was doing was going to get somebody else in his security team.
Oh,
That's what
interesting.
happened. But it is kind of funny because
Well, see how they spin the
what I want to
stories?
know, what I want to know is why? Why was this guy going to attack him?
I don't know. We don't even see that. Like in the beginning, it goes right to him, grabbing this guy for some reason.
Maybe they thought he was going to do something,
Yeah.
and maybe he didn't.
Probably. Or said something threatening. Who knows? But yeah, see now, there you go. So there is the media for you.
Yeah.
The clip I saw, which you saw here,
Yeah, I saw that same clip. I know the clip you're talking
three
about.
people watching,
Right.
the other guy's wrestling,
Right.
and he just walks away.
He walked as he was walking away, but he was actually, from the clip that I saw and what people were saying, he went to get another security officer or whatever. Kristi Noem.
Kristi Noem.
I think this was wrong.
Picture here.
I don't see anything wrong with Kristi Noem. Okay, she has this affair maybe with this guy Corey Lewandowski,
Yeah.
but that's her personal life. Just leave it out of here. I mean, I just but that's politics. That's the way it is. It's mean. It's ugly. It's horrible. I thought she did a very good job. She secured the border. Yeah, she made these commercials and it cost a lot of money.
Yeah,
And
$200 million worth.
$200 million. But I know there was a thing about, she said that Trump approved it. And Trump said, no, I didn't approve it, but this, that, and the other thing. I mean, I know. She was on the horse with the cowboy hat, walking in front of the Mount Rushmore and
Yeah, all
things
the
like
glam
that.
and the makeup.
Yeah,
and,
I
even
don't know.
Megyn Kelly,
Well, I know Megyn Kelly hates her. Ever since she shot her dog 20 years ago
Well,
or
yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
Well, that was.
But Megyn Kelly's always been ratting on her. But now she's not let go. She's actually with
I know.
what's it called? Security of America.
There were a few things, and now remember we don't see the Minneapolis video anymore, right?
That was a bad thing. I do have to say.
but
No, I remember
I
what
know,
she
but
said.
hear me out. Why he's removing her? Just like he took out and sent in Holman to Minneapolis to calm things down.
Right.
That's what he's doing here.
Right. Yeah.
He took her out to calm things down because everybody hated her. Not that they're going to like the next person that comes in because they don't like anything he puts in. She stood up there the minute that girl got shot. Alex Petty and Renee Good. Oh, they're terrorists. They're American terrorists, or whatever she said. And she jumped all over it an hour after it happened without any information or anything. Now, nothing came out of it yet, but then she did do a lot of self-promotion, and I mean, Trump is the last one to talk about self-promotion because that's all he does. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me.
I don't know. I thought she did a good job, but that's just the way it is.
She did. I mean, but you still got to look at the people that are protesting against ICE in the first place and the way she handled it is what happened. It was too coarse, too callous, and people just don't like that. So he's trying to calm things down and get this better. Now, the Democrats, of course, welcomed her departure.
Oh yeah.
They called her a disaster.
No, they call everybody. They call people
Headset
Hegseth a disaster. Stephen Miller a disaster.
disaster, yeah.
Marco Rubio, he's he's the worst, and J.D. Vance is horrible, and that they do. That's politics.
They were all calling for a resignation. So rather than do that, Mr. Trump decided to
Take
kind
her
of
out.
diffuse the situation here. This is a serious job, and there are people getting killed because of it, accidentally, whatever, or who knows. But she's got a real job. This is not like a wine commercial or something for soap to do your hair, and it's a real job. And the commercials just seem like what I did. I'll go back a little bit. What I did love that she did say though was, all we're asking is you come over here legally.
Right. That's every commercial was like that,
Yeah.
and you would get.
And if you do
And
that,
if you do that, you can come back into the country legally, and we'll help you.
right,
That's what she said.
Yeah.
I thought that was nothing wrong with that.
it is. But the women, a lot of women especially, just think it's too much. The hair's done, the big earrings, all that stuff. And I mean, I don't know.
Well, when she went to, where was it, El Salvador, where they brought a lot of these drug addicts and these gang members from Mexico or whatever, they brought them to. Remember, they were all sitting in the cage, and she was there. She wasn't dressed up. She had jeans on, a T-shirt on, and she was talking to the officials there, and she was looking at all these men that were in the cages, with tattoos on and all.
Oh
that.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. No,
But
but
then
we'll see
again-
how this guy does.
But then again, when she was out in the field, she had
Yeah,
the whole
she-
garb on and the vest,
Right.
and the thing, and
Right, sitting on the horse with a
Yeah.
cowboy hat.
yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So she's landed another job. What'd you say it was?
It's I forget the name of it. It's Security of the Americas or something like that.
Okay.
And it's basically about our Western Hemisphere that Trump's worried about.
Overall, yeah.
That's the Monroe Doctrine
Yeah.
from way back.
And I did see that. Wasn't there like somebody from every country there?
Yes,
In the-
except for Mexico.
Yeah.
She wasn't there.
Okay.
Nobody from Canada was there. She's
Oh,
part of
yeah.
it.
Yep.
And
They're a big part of
there
it.
was nobody from Cuba was there.
Okay.
But there were some nice people there. Brazil, Argentina, Chile.
Yeah, they were all
Chile.
pretty excited about him
absolutely.
saving the Western
right.
Hemisphere.
Yep.
That's part of what the Iran war was
Yep.
about. What are we supposed to do? Wait till they start lobbing one over? Okay, we got 90 minutes before something
And
happens.
Trump is basically telling them, when you've got cartels in your country, take them out.
Yeah,
Step up to the plate, take
That's
them
what
out.
he's-
Don't
yeah.
let the cartels take over
right. And
like they're doing in Mexico.
building a coalition of all these countries going against one cartel is the way to do it, I think. I don't know.
I mean, I knew you were
Well,
gonna
first
talk
of all,
about it.
before I even start, I said these are uncorroborated allegations only. There's no evidence, witnesses, or charges that have ever resulted from them. The FBI interviewed multiple times in 2019, but took no further action. The White House and DOJ have called the claims zero credible evidence from a sadly disturbed woman. Now, that's what I did hear a couple times. She's a disturbed woman. So anybody listening out there that thinks that this guy is a pedo is going to love this story. And this was on Facebook, and CNN was the logo. CNN was there, and the story is that Epstein again. Here we come. We're back up with the Epstein file stuff.
This is going to go down like Kennedy. They'll never know what was the truth. We'll never know whether he got killed or committed suicide. It'll be like Kennedy 50 years from now.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of what's going on today is going to be that we're never going to find. We never found Nancy Guthrie. Never going to find that. That's never going to happen.
Right.
But I don't want to get off this yet. So apparently, this woman claims that when she was younger on the Epstein Island, that Trump tried to force her
To have oral
having-
sex.
oral sex.
Right.
And she did not want to comply, and supposedly,
She bit him.
so I don't know if Trump really got his dick bit or not, but this is what people are just dying to find. This is since the Epstein files even started. This is all these people wanted to see.
Right.
They wanted to see something like this
Against Trump.
against
You
Trump.
really think these Democrats care about what these girls went through? They can give a shit.
Well, it's
All they care about is let's get Trump.
Well-
Let's put Trump up. Hey, we could make him look like an idiot.
Yeah.
That's all this is. They could give a shit about. First of all, this girl says, I can't remember if I was 13 or 15. What about 14? What happened to that? You know,
she went from 13 to 15.
you know, I mean, it's just so.
It was just another testimony of these people. Now, you know, we had Bill Clinton testified that Trump was not involved.
Right.
He didn't see Trump do anything wrong. He wasn't on the island.
And Trump called the police on Mar-a-Lago
Yeah.
and said, "This guy's. I want him out of here. He's a pervert."
Yeah.
He says,
You
"Get him
better
out."
watch this guy. Yeah. So, you know, all this stuff, but they were dying from the very beginning. We talked about this a few episodes in a row. And they've been trying to find something on Trump to get him with this stuff. And anybody out there, and I got to tell you, calling this guy a pedophile without evidence is a really bad thing.
Yeah.
This is the president of the United States. Whether you like the guy or not, whether you think he's an idiot, like, you know, some of these actors that have to stand up and talk about this guy bad and whatever, it doesn't matter. It's the respect of the presidency. You don't call our U.S. president a pedophile. You just don't do that. It doesn't look good across the country, a world.
The world, right?
It looks terrible.
They don't care.
And they don't care.
They don't care.
I know.
What was the cartoon you sent me? Trump cures cancer.
Yeah,
What was the thing?
I got it here.
That was-
So there's a meme or cartoon out there. It says Trump cures cancer, and Trump is dressed up in a doctor's outfit. And underneath there's protesters. I have the right to die from cancer. There's another sign that says curing cancer is racist.
We want our cancer back.
Yeah. Cancer cells matter.
Cancer cells matter.
Those are the libs.
I
And
have
that
the
is
right
so
to die
true.
from cancer.
That is so true. I you know, he's a king. He's this. He's that. You know, look. The bottom line, they hate this guy, and there's nothing that's going to change it. Now, we mentioned last week, De Niro has got TDS all the way. Trump deranged syndrome. He is just there's something wrong there.
Oh yeah, he's over the top. He is. He's over the top.
Because he goes and makes speeches and everything about this guy.
He wants to punch him in the mouth.
Yeah, punch
wants
him.
to take him in the back and punch him. And
What about when he, what was it, the awards a few years ago? F Trump.
yeah,
As soon as he got up there.
yeah.
So, you know, they're just.
Did he talk about Trump when Trump had his show? The what is it?
The Apprentice?
The Apprentice. Did he say anything? I never heard him say anything. If he hated him that much, he would have said, "Oh, what's he doing on TV? He's horrible. He should be out of there."
In the meantime, he lives in New York City. That was half built by Trump.
That's right.
So how come you're still in the city?
Well, you know, some people on the left, they don't think Trump has built half. They think
Well,
he
they
went,
didn't build half
Well,
the
no,
city.
but I get the argument all the time. Oh, but he went bankrupt. He went bankrupt and let
So
some of
do-
his. But that
Yeah.
some millionaires. If you talk to a lot of millionaires, they tell you. The perfect one is Mitt Romney. He says sometimes you have to do that. It's the smart thing to do to go bankrupt so you can come back.
recover?
Yeah, I mean, they do it on purpose. He says a lot of millionaires do it on purpose because they can come back.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's happened a lot. I mean,
All I hear is always his casinos. They all failed. Everything that he touched failed.
Yeah, I know.
He never amounted to nothing.
yeah, look at him.
Yeah, he built half of New York.
He amounted to nothing, but he can actually not take a salary and
Right.
get a president.
Yeah, he gets a dollar.
And
He
take
gets a
all,
dollar.
And take all this stuff. I mean, take the beating that he takes in day in and day
Oh
out.
my God! This man has been through for the last 4 years, I can't believe it.
Well-
with 2 or 3 assassination attempts,
Yeah.
getting sued, billions of dollars, his name thrown out there, his family's name thrown out there, dragged through the mud. It's had Mar-a-Lago raided, and the
Oh, yeah.
agents go in there and they're going through her underwear drawer. I mean,
Yeah,
and then
I forgot about that.
they took stuff and put it all out on the floor, and then they said, "See, he doesn't even keep the files right," and they were the ones that did it.
They proved that they did.
And then he could give a shit whether Joe Biden did it or not. And he was vice president. This guy was president, and he had the right to do that. Joe Biden didn't. He was vice president.
Yep.
So the protesters that protested the death of 2 protesters are now protesting the death of a guy who killed 30,000 protesters.
Protesters. That's it. That's the one. That's how screwed up this world is. So, anyway, let's pray this war ends quickly.
Yeah.
And gases go back down, because the first thing they said, Trump, the only good thing he did. Now, they didn't say this when it just came down.
Right.
The only good thing he did was lower the gas prices, and now they're right back up. Right? The charts all over. They got charts on all the network stations. Look at it. Look at the gas price. They didn't say nothing when they were going down.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, oh, they're back up. Well, that's because you didn't say nothing when we were down. So let's see what happens. Hopefully this ends shortly and gas goes way down. And
one thing that we should have maybe talked about tonight, maybe we could do it by next week, but then it'll be old news. But this thing with Mondani in New York with the 2 kids that threw bombs.
Yes.
Now, the protesters were.
Now, if you want to, we can do it. We got time.
Yeah. Okay. Mondani, Gracie Mansion.
That's it.
Okay, Gracie Mansion in New York. There were protesters outside protesting about Mondani and that he's a Muslim and he's taken over the city, and they were protesting. All of a sudden, 2 kids come by.
Yes.
We've got the video here. You could see it, and there's different angles of this. Turns out one's from Afghanistan, the other one's from Turkey. One's 18, the other one's 19. They're from Pennsylvania. They were right here from Bucks County.
Oh, I didn't know they were.
Oh, yeah, they're right here from Bucks County. And they got, somehow, ICE kind of took them over. Not ICE, the people that protect us, ICE across the water, the terrorists.
Yeah.
And they lobbed a makeshift bomb into the crowd.
Which would have been worse.
Didn't go off.
Right.
And the other one, the other kid did the same thing, and that one didn't go off too. So now, right away, the left is saying, well, was it really a bomb? It was just something to scare people.
Oh, give me a break.
Well, what's her name? The chief of police in New York City is throwing the book at them. I mean, these are 2 kids that just threw away their lives because they're probably going to be in jail for at least 30 or 40 years.
Yeah.
For attempted murder.
Terrorists.
Terrorists.
And they said if that bomb went off, it would have killed more people than the Boston Marathon.
That's right. It was packed with nails and all sorts of things.
Very unstable explosive they were using.
Yep.
They found out, they searched for it and how they got this stuff.
Right.
And did you hear that the mom called the police and said that her child is missing the day he left? She called in about 10 a.m., said he's been gone for 2 hours. I don't know where he is.
Wow.
And called in. So I think she had a small inkling that something was not right.
Something wasn't right.
And she tried to tip off people maybe somehow,
somehow.
directly implicating him.
Yeah.
But
he came from Bucks County. Both kids came from Bucks County.
They went down, they searched the house, and they found all this other stuff.
Oh, yeah, they found a lot more other stuff. But evidently the family is actually, their roots, one is from Afghanistan, the other one is from Turkey, from what I understand. So, now today, they had minesweepers at Gracie's mansion. Evidently there was something that was found in Gracie mansion. It didn't look right. So they had police coming in with, sniffing dogs and all these robots that go and look at some kind of explosives or something. And and Donnie wasn't there.
Emar Balat, 18.
Right.
And 19-year-old Ibrahim Kayami.
Right.
Both from the Philadelphia suburbs of Bucks County, was arrested Saturday after this. Wow.
Yeah.
They were both seniors there at a high school.
Yep.
And it says here, he enrolled virtually and has not attended in-person classes since September. Wow. So they got radicalized. And, the fear is with this Iran war, too, that they're going to have sleeper cells.
Yeah.
That are going to start popping up. Now, the FBI's been on a lot of communications they've heard already.
That could start happening. Well,
they already heard the communications, that they're intercepting these communications to the sleeper cells. Right. and we let them all in this country, and they can. That's what happened with the first bombing at the trade towers.
Yeah.
A small sleeper cell that woke up and decided to bomb everybody. Boston Marathon, same thing. So keep your eyes open. We said this last week. Keep your eyes open. Keep your family safe.
That's right. You
Let's
see
hope-
something. If you see something that's not right, tell the authorities. Call.
Yeah.
You know?
And keep your family safe. And that's about it. We got a good night. I'm done.
First night for our.
Yep. And our new studio. I hope you liked it.
Hope you like.
May not be as pizzazzy as the green screen, but you know what? It's real.
Yeah, this is gonna be.
No AI.
Yeah,
No
this is
AI.
gonna be.
Yeah, this will be it for a while.
This will be for.
Until they throw us out because we can't pay the rent.
And this was episodes. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's why you got to like and
Like and subscribe.
so we can pay the rent, so we can have this here.
Hit that bell. Right. We
Alrighty.
appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I'm Joe.
And I'm Bill.
Have a
See
good
ya.
night.
Bye bye.
See yous.